The process is a balance. So at the point in my day, whether it's the morning or the evening, and it's depending on how many things I've had to do up until that point. Usually the mental drain can take place after an exhausting day, say at work, if I had to fill the shoes of a lot of people that weren't there. And so by the end of my day, my desire to make more accurate decisions, or my patience to make sure that something is done in a certain way, is drained to such a level that if I'm gonna do some form of art, whether it's this canvas or music, it's something I want to just string together in a way that requires no more effort of thought. And so I just want to go with the flow essentially at that point. I guess that's funny to say that, but yeah, if it's say like an early morning on a day I have off, the patience and the desire to maybe put together structure, do a portrait, or really put thought, maybe go to the computer and start printing out stencils and cutting them out and actually put together something that's going to have a lot more definitive shapes, then that's going to be an option that's so much more readily available for me. But for this was the end of a day. I did a lot already at this point, so if I'm committing myself to doing something artistic for that moment, it needs to be something that I can see myself enjoying the process of, and that's what this would have been. A lot of little things, mainly social media based at this point. There are people in my life that I kind of watch off to the side, almost like I'm peering through the blinds from the inside of my room. You know, they don't see all the movements that I can be making behind the blinds, but I'm like watching everything that I can see them do. And more often than not, that's enough of a motivation. And then there's other people that are maybe more celebritized, and they'll be out there, whether they're an actor or they're somebody that's a social media guru, or they go around and they're a dating expert who has to wake up at 4 a.m. and take a cold shower before going out and being rejected 100 times a day. Whatever it is, it's their commitment to what they're doing that I compare what I'm doing, and generally in a way that's not too self-degrading. I use as a way of belittling myself in the grand scheme of what I'm doing, as a way of hopefully rebounding or allowing myself to almost spring myself to a higher level than I would have otherwise thought was possible. The benefit of art to the human psyche is that when you learn to allow yourself to let go of anything that's telling you that this is the right way of doing this and this is a wrong way of doing it, which would likely only happen as you're working through the process, you can start to find what's really going on internally if you're not listening to it on a regular basis. With art like this, when I'm working on a canvas, I don't necessarily feel that as much as I would maybe if I'm writing lyrics or if I'm improvising, whether I'm listening to hip hop or I've got an acoustic guitar and I'm just kind of feeling out the chords and I'm singing as I go. More often than not, the words that come to my mind that I later go back and listen to, say, the phone recording, the words that I would have been saying tell me a lot more than I thought about what I'm feeling at that moment. Whatever that process is for each person, it's really interesting, but you only really can learn sometimes what's going on when you actually let yourself go into something like art or whatever your creative pursuit is. three things, if there were three things I think somebody should consider as values for whatever it is they're trying to create, maybe it's painting or music, or maybe you're a baker, I think the three things would probably have to be learning to let go, which I believe is probably repeated countless times, but it's so important. Learning to actually let go of any restriction you've heard, any rule that's been put in your head at this point, anything that somebody's told you is right or wrong, pretty much. Just let go of it as best you can. Another thing would be to really immerse yourself in that moment. When you're able to let go of any restriction that you may find as you're enjoying this process, that you may find is holding you back, you learn to actually mold into whatever the moment is. I mean, the shape is always going to be different of that moment, but the more you can relax into it, the more you can settle into the grooves of it and actually find what the shape is. I think those two would be the most important thing. Maybe, the third thing would have to easily be you could set yourself up correctly, but if you're not doing the third thing, which is actually doing it, actually getting up and making the process, creating whatever it is you're supposed to create, if it's a cake or a canvas or a portrait or getting out and shooting photography, whatever it is, if you're not gonna get up and do it, then it doesn't really matter how in the moment you are, because there's nothing to show for it.